guys, welcome back to my channel. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing amazing. I've been wanting to film this video for a really long time, but every time I schedule myself to make this video, I kind of pull back and don't make it. I know a lot of the people who are subscribed to my channel are probably not going to be able to relate to this video, but for the people who can't relate to this video, I really wanted to make it and give you a little bit of a look into my life and what it's been like to deal with PCOS. So today's video is going to be my journey with PCOS, also like what has helped me and like how it's been. It's been 10 years since I was diagnosed, so I know a little bit about the syndrome and wanted to share some information with you if you are going through it. For those of you who don't know, PCOS, and I'm gonna read it off the phone, PCOS stands for Polycystic Ovary Syndrome, and it's a hormonal disorder causing enlarged ovaries with small cysts on the outer edges. And the cause of polycystic ovary syndrome isn't well understood, but may involve a combination of genetic and environmental factors. For me, a lot of the people in my family have PCOS, so I feel like for me it might be a genetic thing. And then also my mom had a lot of issues with her reproductive system and her periods were really bad, and honestly for her it was really hard to get pregnant. She didn't think she was going to be able to have kids. I'm an only child and my mom had me when she was 36, so she was very surprised when she got pregnant. She actually didn't believe that she was pregnant. So yeah, I think my thing might be a genetic thing because I have cousins as well who have PCOS. I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was 13 years old, and I remember it so vividly that day because it was October 30th. I remember it was the day before Halloween, and I was outside with my friend. We had just gotten off the bus and we were chilling outside of my house, and it was really cold outside, and I remember being so cold. I was like, I need to go back home. I went home and I was just not feeling well. I remember I had my period at the time. My mom gave me some medicine and some spaghetti. It was like white sauce spaghetti, probably butter noodles because that's all I like to eat, but my mom gave me some food and I was just not feeling well, and I threw up all my medication. I was throwing up all day. I had really bad cramping to the point where like it was horrible. So my mom decided to take me to the hospital at like 10 p.m. because I was just like, I'm really like, honestly, I don't feel well. And so they took me to the hospital. They did a bunch of exams. They did like CAT scans and like, I don't know, they were putting me through a bunch of machines. And then that's when the doctor was like, she has PCOS, because I believe it was like, we're able to see the cyst on like one of the scans. So they told her that that's possibly what it was, but I needed to go see a gynecologist. And then this is where my memory gets a little bit blurry, because from that time I didn't go to a gynecologist till the next year, I believe. Like, I believe it was like a big gap till I was able to go to the gynecologist. So after that, every summer my family would go to Costa Rica for like summer, like the whole summer would just go spend it over there. So then during that time, from October to like May, June, my periods would be a month long. So I was bleeding. Sorry, let me just put a warning. We're gonna be talking about female reproductive systems, bleeding, menstrual periods, all of that. So from October to June, I was bleeding for like a month long, and then my period would go away for 5 days and then it'll come back for like a whole month. So definitely not normal. You're only supposed to get your period for like a week. Normal people get it for just a week, maybe 4 days, but I was getting mine for a whole month. So when I got to Costa Rica, they were noticing that I was sleeping a lot. I ended up getting tested and I was actually anemic. So because I was losing so much blood and I was losing so much iron, I became anemic. So that whole summer we were trying to fix me being anemic. So my mom did a bunch of home remedies for me to try to like give me iron and the nutrients that I needed to stop my anemia, and ended up helping a lot. So then when we came back, we immediately started going to the gynecologist. That's when they were like, you need to be on birth control. So birth control was the reason why I was on birth control at such a young age, was to regulate my periods, because I was getting my period for a month long. So if I took birth control, I wouldn't get my period, and I would only get my period on that week that I wasn't taking the birth control. Because when you get your birth control, and I'll show you mine, when you get your birth control, usually it comes in a little thing like this. There's an extra week right here. Those are usually sugar pills, so they are not actual birth control. So you're supposed to get your period on that week because you're not taking the birth control to suppress your period. So I would only get it on this week when I started taking birth control. Now the birth control control that I was getting was American birth control, so I actually could make a whole video on the difference between American birth control and Costa Rican birth control, or like other countries' birth control, because there is a big difference. So I started taking birth control and I was feeling way better because I wasn't getting my period for a whole month. But because it was so new to me, they started experimenting with different birth controls. So they would give me like different brands, and I would go to Walmart to pick up my medication, and sometimes I would get like one brand from like whatever, and then the next month I would get like a different brand. So I think that was actually throwing me off and my body off. Fast forward to 2016, I decided to stop taking my birth control, and when I stopped taking my birth control, I started to feel better mentally. Like I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders and I was happier, which was crazy. I honestly feel till this day that the birth control that I was taking was making me depressed. So when I stopped taking it, I started feeling better mentally, but my bleeding started coming back every single day. So I needed to find a solution for me to be able to still feel great and amazing and happy, but be able to not bleed every single day of my life. And that's when we discovered Costa Rican birth control. I am from Costa Rica and I have a bunch of family over there, and we decided to experiment with the birth control from over there, which made me feel 100 times better. So what we would do is when we would go there for the summer, we would buy a bunch of packets that would last me the year till I made it back over there. And in 2000, I have my little paper here, that's why I'm looking down. I think it was 2016? No, 2017, I transitioned fully to Costa Rican birth control because that's the year that I moved there. So these are the ones that I take now. I'll show you the brand. It's called Norgil, and I would get this for free with my healthcare over there. Now I don't live there, so I don't really have the healthcare anymore, but you can buy these at any pharmacy, and literally like at the grocery stores they would have little pharmacies and you could just buy them there. So I buy a bunch of packets and my mom ships them out to me so then I could have my Costa Rican birth control, and it's really good. It makes me feel really nice. It doesn't give me acne. I don't believe that I have gained any weight because of the birth control. Truly, if I have gained weight, it's because I don't exercise as much as I should. But my birth control is pretty amazing and I am so happy that I found it, and I found one that works for me. I know a lot of people don't have the luxury to be able to get birth control at like here in America you have to get it prescribed to you, which sucks. Like over there you can just show up anywhere and buy birth control. To me, it's truly a luxury to be able to do something like that. But that has been pretty much my journey. You know, I used to get really bad cramping to the point where when I had my period, I wouldn't be able to go to school. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I would literally be in my bed crying for like a week because it was so painful that I just couldn't bring myself up to do anything, which is so sad. But now my periods are not as bad. I don't get as bad cramping. What I do get now a lot is bloating. Like I get so bloated and it's so painful. I literally have to like lay in force, and like David has to like pat my stomach and like my back because it's like I have air inside of me that's trapped and I can't fart, and I need to fart but I can't, and it's so painful. It's literally something. So that is usually something I get before my period or around the time where I am on my period. I did want to talk about some of the things that help me with PCOS and some of the things I do, because I believe that my pain and my cramps have triggers. There's certain things that would trigger my pain and make it more painful. The first thing was the day that I ended up at the hospital in the emergency room was because I was so cold. So now every time it's that time of the month, I like to stay very warm because the cold will make me feel so much pain and it will make me bleed more, if that makes any sense. So I try to stay very warm. David knows this. I would like have like socks and like a long sleeve shirt, and I'm always telling him like, oh my god David, it's so cold, I'm literally going to bleed out. And that's like our joke. Cannot be cold. So I like to stay very warm. I also like to not drink alcohol. I am not a big drinker as it is, because every time I drink my neck hurts and like my bones hurt. But if you drink alcohol when you're on your period, it's like makes you bleed more. And also citrus, I try to have nothing with citrus. No lemon juice, no not apple, no orange juice, none of that. And then also cinnamon tea tea is really, really good for you. This has helped me so much. Boil some cinnamon sticks with some water, and you can add lemon if you want, a little bit, and then you can also add like apple cider vinegar, and it's really good for you. It helps me a lot with my pains. Every time I drink it, I notice that I don't get as much like cramps as I used to. So definitely try some cinnamon tea. And then also anything like that's warm drinks like chocolate or tea, all of that stuff really helps me. One thing I used to drink a lot was Advil. I used to take a lot of Advil, and it was actually so horrible because I would take like 6 Advils a day, or yeah, I think that's the maximum you can take. I would take like 6 Advils every single day that I would be on my period. But now I don't really drink that much Advil just because I feel like my liver is going to be destroyed by the age I'm 30 drinking all these pills. So that's why I try to make my cinnamon teas and like my different teas. But I used to drink Advil. Advil helps with inflammation and stuff like that. So then if you take it before you get the pain, like sometimes you know you're about to get, it's about to be a bad day of cramping. Before that, just take your Advil, so then when the cramps are happening, the Advil has already taken effect and it doesn't hurt as much. So that's what I used to do. Advil is really good. I never took Midol, I think it is, or any of that. I've always taken Advil. Advil is probably the best one. Another thing that's helped me is staying active. I don't really do much exercising, and I should exercise. Like, it's very, very important. And I do notice that when I am more active and I work out more, my cramping and my periods aren't as bad, especially if I work out during my period. Like, no one wants to work out when it's that time of the month. It truly sucks. Like, you don't want to do anything, but going for a walk or something, it makes you feel better mentally, but it also helps you a lot physically. I've been exercising more lately. I've been trying to do 30 minutes of hula hooping. I've been trying to go skating. I did some ab workouts today. So I'm really, 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 really trying, because it does help a lot when you work out and you stay active. Do something. You don't have to go to the gym. Like, no one likes to go to the gym, but if you try to like do stuff that you love, if it's like going out on a jog, walking your dog, playing with your dog outside, even like sometimes like throwing the ball to Juniper and like chasing her around and stuff like that, that's still a workout. That's still you being active and doing something. Doing yard work, hula hooping, skating. Skating is fun, or you can go rollerblading, you can go skateboarding. All that stuff is really, really fun. And then lastly, my biggest thing that's helped me the most is my Costa Rican birth control. I do have more tips on like things that help me with bloating and cramping, so if you want to see a whole video on that, definitely let me know. I would love to make a video like that, because I just been going through this for so long that I have accumulated a lot of tips and things that I do. For PCOS, it's such a big spectrum. Like, you either don't get your period or you have really horrible heavy periods. Like, it's one of those, you know. Like, and for me, unfortunately, it was a very heavy period, month-long periods. I have friends who like never get their periods. They're like, oh my god, I haven't gotten my period in 2 months. I'm like, what? How do you guys do that? Like, that's insane. For me, it was so different. I'll be like, oh my god, like I'm actually still on mine. You know, it's been a year, still on it. You know, it sucks. For me, it's really hard to lose weight. Like, I have to try really, really freaking hard to lose weight. I don't think I'm obese, and I don't think I'm overweight. Maybe a little bit. I've gained like 20 pounds in the last 3 years. But I also, like, I moved in with David and stuff. Like, you can call it happy weight if you want. But I do love my body, and I think I look really good. So I don't know. I think I'm fine. I do know that it's very hard for me to lose weight. And then also common is infertility, which is something that I have thought about a long time. Like, I don't know if I will ever be able to have children, or I do know that it's gonna be very hard for me to have kids. Well, you never know, you know, in a couple years from now, you never know. But I feel like we're gonna probably have to see doctors for me to be able to have children, because like I said, if I stop taking my birth control, I would just start bleeding, and it will be super irregular, and that's not healthy. So we would have to find like a treatment for me. Also common is acne, depression, inappropriate male features, loss of scalp, hair, oily skin, or unwanted hair. I do have very oily skin, especially right here. My nose is very oily, and I have really really bad pores. I don't get really bad acne, and I don't have unnecessary hair where I don't want it, except for my armpits. Like my hair in my armpits and like my other parts grow really fast, but other than that, I think my thing would be really hard to lose weight, and then also very heavy periods. But all of that has been regulated. So my biggest tip to you is see what works for you. Definitely see a gynecologist, and get checked out, and keep tabs on your body. Stay active, stay healthy, eat healthy. That also helps a lot, because there's nothing worse than feeling shitty and being in pain. Like, that's not a good combination. So if you're eating healthy and you're working out and stuff like that, it would make your period cramps less like awful. Thankfully, I have found what works for me. And like I said, if you guys want more videos on like birth control and bloating, cramping, stuff like that, please let me know. I would love to help. This is something I've been battling for a while, and I'm just happy to share it with you. And yeah, I love you guys so freaking much. I think that's gonna be it for the video. I don't really have much else to say, but yeah, I love you so much. And if you do have PCOS, I wish you the best of luck. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I would love to answer them. And yeah,